But the thing is that you can't book your flight all the way to Russia. I've been kind of testing out low-costers in Europe now. EasyJet, Ryanair, and Wizz Air within Europe. And a number of those go to Gdansk and Helsinki. So, it depends on where you're landing in Europe. Could look at that route. But the thing is that you can't book your flight all the way to Russia. You have to break it up into steps. And so at what point do you book your ticket for the Luxe Express?
I sync it up. I'm trying to think. I do the flight first, but I first check the buses are available. So the buses from Finland to St. Petersburg, because that's one of the only routes, it has become more popular. And so they sell out sometimes. So if you don't check in advance, it can not be available sometimes. They do have multiple routes throughout the day, but some of them are not very convenient. You'll be starting your bus at midnight or at 5 a.m. For me, I like to just travel during the day. I like to get a good night's sleep, wake up and take a comfortable time for the bus so that I arrive here kind of in the evening or whatever. That's the one thing you have to double check, is that if you're gonna fly in, that there is a bus available for you.
And I think the trick is making sure that the bus isn't too close to your flight, but also not waiting too long.
That's why staying overnight solves everything.
Yeah.
If you can't, yes, you need a little bit of leeway there, but the buses are literally right outside the airport. You get off the plane, you go, out the terminal, and then you're there. That's where the bus stops. So as long as the flight gets there when it needs to, the buses have always been down to within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I've never seen them later or low. I don't know how they do it. They probably set a time and then drive a little bit slower so that they can arrive, because I have no idea why they can arrive at exactly the time they're supposed to, especially with the border, yeah. So I think they probably somehow drive a little slower.
I'm sure they have a buffer. I've seen that before, because I've taken like the shuttle buses, the mini buses from St. Petersburg, even before the situation. My wife and I have gone to Helsinki quite a few times, and I've seen like the bus drivers will, like, if they're ahead of time, then they'll like sleep in their van until the next. But I mean, I'm sure they do something similar with the large buses.
Maybe slow down a little bit. So, for example, we were coming from Finland to Russia last time, a week or so ago, and us Americans, there happened to be other Americans on the bus. I think a German guy, but they had to interview us. We're on a bus full of Russians who don't want to sit around and wait. So what they do is, if the interviews are going to be a little while, they keep you there. They send that bus on, and they just put you on the next bus that comes through. I think that's probably another way that they keep the buses arriving.
I've heard different scenarios, and I've been in that scenario where I was taken off a train. My visa expired like a few hours because I didn't calculate the midnight, passing over the border like at 2 a.m. in my visa. And the guy's like, okay, pay the fine. So I paid like 1,000 rubles. And then he was just like, okay, hop on the next train. And I also heard other people, they got taken off the bus, their interview went long, the bus left, and then the interviewer is like, hey, he missed his bus, and he was alone. And the border control officer like stopped a car going to St. Petersburg, and they said, hey, would you mind taking this guy?
Wow.
I mean, that's kind of
probably being a good guy, helping them out.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, well, I don't know, if the border officer asked you, hey, can you take this guy? You're probably like, yeah, no problem, But I think that's also, an indication of Russians' hospitality too. It's like, okay, the border officer wouldn't ask them to take a person going the same way if he thought it was a problem.
There's a risk.
And so it's like, okay, you're going that way, hey, this guy just missed his bus.
That's cool.